Our friends at Toluchak, Redwood, and Culbertson, a local real estate law firm we often use for closings, just sent out an email newsletter this week talking about Domino Closings. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's that situation where a house is being sold and that's freeing up someone to go buy another house, and that's freeing up someone to go buy another house, and it can be tricky if everybody's trying to do that at the same time. And from a real estate agent's perspective, great care has to be taken to make sure that proper expectations are set as to when the move might happen for their individual client, what some of the possible pitfalls are, and it all starts at contract negotiation. So you get an offer on your house, and you see that that buyer is selling another house. They even already have a buyer for that house, and it's supposed to close on a certain date. Lo and behold, that's the same day they want to close on your house. So the question, well, there's a few questions that come up. One will be, how can we pull this off on the same day? It can be kind of tricky. Usually it involves closing one early in the morning, early enough to get it recorded in the local courthouse, and the money's sent to the second closing where that person can close by the end of the day, make it all happen. Laws are different in different states, but typically it can be done, but care has to be taken. It's a little bit easier if one closes one day and the other the next business day. But as a seller, you get that offer, they have a house that has to be sold. Well, a good question before you sign a contract with them is, well, what about the person buying their house? Do they have a house that needs to be sold? Sometimes you find out, why, yes. and that has to close. That's under contract and has to close before that buyer can buy the next. You see where I'm going with this. As a realtor, your real estate agent really needs to get to the end of that. Where does it start? Where does it begin? And does that initial buyer have something to sell? Because, if the chain gets too long, the likelihood of it not being completed goes up. So you want to get to the beginning. Eventually, there's got to be a buyer who doesn't have a house to sell or who has already, sold their house. And then you need to make sure each buyer in the chain is qualified to buy, that you have proof of their funds, or you have a letter from a bank saying that they're pre-approved for financing. It helps to know whether or not prior inspections have been done on these other houses. How many contingencies are there? Are there appraisal contingencies that haven't been met? And your realtor needs to advise you in regards to the level of risk. What's the likelihood of this getting across the finish line? We've got one going on right now where 3 houses are going to happen to close in succession. Not all on the same day. That's another thing. Your realtor needs to advise you, hey, this can't all happen on the same day, so let's space these closings out a little bit. Sometimes it involves a rent back for someone where they can sell their house and negotiate with the buyer to stay in it for a few days until all this can be completed. And a good realtor can help orchestrate this, a good realtor in conjunction with a good law firm who knows, hey, these are the things that have to be done in order for this to happen. And all this helps to set proper expectations going into it. You should never sign a contract without having a clear picture of the way things are going to go. A good realtor, a good closing law firm can accomplish that for you. I hope you have a great week.